And today we're going to talk about chapters 11 to 15, or the end of the book, in Shiloh by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. And this, of course, you can see that it's just a Newbery Medal winner, one of the best books. And so I hope that you enjoyed this last session of Shiloh, okay? Now, chapter 11, right? And do you think that after everything, do you think that Marty's dad and mom, like, their relationship, like, how do you think it's gonna go? And do you think that it's gonna get worse or not? Now, do you think that Shiloh will heal, or do you think that Shiloh will never heal and maybe he'll die? What do you think? But anyway, so David comes, right? And did you think that David was gonna find out about Shiloh? Well, he did, right? And so what I wanted to talk about that was, if you had been Marty, would you have even wanted to have, David come with you? Would you be like, hey, let's go over there? Like, because Marty, even though he sort of avoids the place, but in the end, sort of David gets there, and yeah, if you had been Marty, how would you have sort of kept David from going there? But anyway, so like, did you have a feeling that maybe David was gonna see Shiloh? The fight, or did you sort of guess, or did you have the feeling that David was just gonna pass by it, never even notice? Well, David didn't just pass by it and never, he actually found it. Now, so if you had been Marty, would you have just lied about everything, about what happened, or would you have actually said the truth? I think that I would have said the truth. So, if you had been David, how would you have felt about this story, like the sudden story? Like, how would you feel? And you can use a few words to describe how you felt, or you can use a simile, or if you can think of any other way, then you can do that too. But like, don't do sad, mad, or stuff like that, because those, it gets the general idea, but you can go deeper than that. Like, there's a general idea, and then there's the real meaning of the real thing that you right now feel. So I'm gonna use a simile, and it would be, I felt as if someone had punched me with a fist that was filled with awesome coolness and surprise. Maybe. I don't know. How many people do you think will know about Shiloh by the end? And do you think that David or Doc Murphy or any of the people who know about this, do you think that they're going to tell someone or not? Now, also, Doc Murphy came and he had Shiloh. Were you surprised about that, or did you sort of guess that some miracle was gonna happen? Do you think that, how do you think that Marty's gonna pay the bill when he doesn't have any money, and collecting cans is gonna take him all the way to junior high? How do you think that he's gonna collect all this money? But anyway, do you think that now even Ma and Pa, do you think that the whole house, they like Shiloh? Were you surprised about this, or were you like, I guess that? But anyway, so when Judge Travers, wants his dog, do you think that Marty will give Shiloh up? And how did you think that Marty was sort of going to get Shiloh and not return Shiloh? Because I'm pretty sure that, well, I know, and you should know too, but this is a happy ending, right? So how do you think? Like when you were reading, you should have come up with a few guesses. Okay, chapter 12. So, do you think that Dad like really approves of Shiloh being at the house or not? And do you think that do you think that also Dad really likes Shiloh? But anyway, so another thing I wanted to talk about was if you had been Marty, then how would you have made Shiloh feel more welcome? Well, Marty's family is doing an amazing job of making Shiloh feel welcome. So if you have been one of the family members, and you can actually choose a family member. There's Dara Lynn, and there's Ma, and there's Dad, and then there's Becky, right? So, well, Becky's a little kid, so maybe not Becky. Okay, let's rule out Becky. Now, and there's also Marty. So in those 5 people, Mom, Dad, oh yes, I keep on forgetting that Becky's not there. 4 people, right? Who do you think is like, and just choose any of them, okay? And how do you think that they felt about Shiloh being there? And on a scale to 1 to 10, how much do you think they like Shiloh? 10 is like they love Shiloh more than they love family. And I hope that they aren't like that. I hope that the love for Shiloh and the love for family are shared equally. Okay. Okay, but anyway, and 1 is the person hates Shiloh, hates as much as Judd Travers. Okay. Okay, and then you can make a simile or a few words to describe how your character felt. I think I'm gonna use Marty, and so my simile will be this: I felt as if I had gotten wings. You know, he felt free and happy. Well, you might be a little terrified if you have wings, but I think I'll like it. And then I think that on a scale from 1 to 10. He's 9. So 9 basically means distributed equally, loves the dog a lot, like that. But anyway, so do you think that you would have been any good at keeping a secret? I mean, like, are you good at keeping a secret or not? I can keep a secret, but at times I can make a few slips. But yeah, I think I can keep a secret. And anyway, by this time, how many people do you think are lying? And do you think that what Marty's gotten everybody into, do you think that it's just in the end it's gonna be for nothing? And that everyone will just die? I mean, not die. Everything will be just for, and everything will just, Shiloh will perish or at least go away. And that will be as same as perishing, because Judd's gonna do something bad to Shiloh. And so in the end, do you think that you could have that? How many lies, in your opinion, have you told? And do you think that you can handle a few more lies or not? So, do you think that Marty, what are a few jobs that, what are a few tips on jobs that you would tell Marty? What are a few jobs that you think that Marty could maybe have? A pet sitting business is good. Anyway, Judd Travers comes, right? But just a rap, right? Who did you guess it was? Just from the rap. I guess Judd Travers, And, okay, so, I mean, if you had been Marty, what would you have told Judd? I would have told Judd this: well, your dog came by, and I felt sad for him because he was poor. He was starving, and he was a little, and he was hurt, and so I just took him in, and then the German Shepherd attacked. So I just wanted to get him healthy, and then after that I would give him to you. Sort of like that. Even though maybe I would have said it more passionately if I had actually been Marty. Now, okay, so do you think that Judd even deserves Shiloh? And were you surprised that Judd didn't even give up Shiloh, even though Judd sort of hated Shiloh? And if you have been Judd, would you have done the same thing or not? Okay, but anyway, I have a question, another question, and it's, when Judd gets Shiloh back, what do you think is the first thing that he's gonna do to Shiloh? Oh, I think of all these kicking and punching and starving. And he might even, shoot. Hopefully not that. But he could just give the dog to, Shiloh to Marty and his family. If he was gonna shoot it, that's what. Shooting is not good. If he doesn't need it, then the better thing to do, the good thing to do is just give it to someone who actually wants it, who wants Shiloh. Okay, but anyway, so, do you think that Judge Travers, if this case were ever, held in the court, who do you think would ultimately win? Probably Judge Travers, right? Unfortunately, he's gonna win. But anyway, so, do you think that Marty's gonna return him on Sunday? Or do you think that he's gonna come up with a plan before Sunday? What do you think? Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about before chapter 13, chapter 14, chapter 15 is about this writing. The author, Phyllis Reynolds Naylor, she's just an amazing author. And so there isn't actually a book 2 of this, okay? And so my idea is to just think and be like, what would be a good book 2? And you can actually write this. Or you could just write a story similar to this. And yes, this book is actually, at least in this copy, it is 144 pages long. It does not have to be 144 pages long. It can be as long as you want, short as you want. But yeah, it's just a really fun activity. So I just wanted to tell you about that, okay? And I'm pretty sure you could think of a few activities yourself too. Maybe take a quiz about Shiloh to see how much you learned from Shiloh. Okay, anyway, one question I wanted to ask before we keep on going to chapter 13, chapter 14, chapter 15. And it is, when do you think that this was set? If you can't think of the exact date, maybe just which decade or period. I think that it will be in the 20th century, the 1900s. Not very sure when, but at least after 1950, okay? Somewhere in those parts. Now, chapter 13. So, when you're sleep deprived, how do you feel? If you don't have enough sleep, how do you feel? Miserable, right? And sleepy. And so Marty's going back to not sleeping again, right? And if you have been Marty, what would you have been your plan for getting Shiloh back? I would have tried to work out a deal or maybe buy Shiloh. I could do that. Now, do you think that Marty could actually hire you call the police or whatever and get an investigator to come to Judge Travers' house, or do you think that's not possible? Now, also, another thing I wanted to talk about was, do you think Ma, right? Ma and Dad, right? Do you think that they're really making Marty feel better? And if you have been Ma or Dad, then how would you have made it so that Marty would feel better? So, does it seem like there's no hope? Did it seem like there was no hope, or did you think that there was always hope here? And if you had been Marty, could you even stand the fact that that you had to give Shiloh up by Sunday? And how would you feel if you had been Marty? Words to describe, simile. I'll just use a simile. I like similes for some reason. Okay, here's one. like I felt as if there was a timer ticking down, tick, tick, ticking down all the way to Sunday, where an atomic bomb would explode. Terrified, nervous, scared, all those things Marty sort of feels. Anyway, do you think, so Marty decides to confront Judge Travers, right? And what is one thing that you would need for Marty, you, to do this if you have Marty? Courage or bravery, right? And do you think that you could manage enough courage or bravery to do this or not? It would be hard to manage it, but I think I would also do the same. So, how do you think that, what do you think that, Marty is going to do to make a deal with Judge Travers? And, so Judge Travers gets this beautiful doe when it's not hunting season, not doe season, right? And immediately when that happened, what did you think in your brain? I thought this. Awesome. Now Marty can blackmail him. Well, it's basically a deal, but I like to think blackmailing. I love, because Judge deserves, he deserves serious blackmailing. But anyway, so, I have a question, and it is, if you had been Marty, would you have been scared to go forward because, Judd has a gun, or would you be like, awesome, and would you just step out? Okay, now, so I'm just gonna talk about one really fun activity after each chapter. It's only gonna be for Shiloh, maybe for some others, but anyway, another thing that you could do was, is actually, in Shiloh, Judge Travers, he shot this deer, right? One really cool thing that you could do is maybe see the punishment for if you shot a deer out of season, something like that. But anyway, so, Judge Travers, right? I have a question, and if you had to use one word to describe Judge Travers, what would that word be? And I don't know, maybe I'll have to think about that. Now to chapter 14, right? And Judge Travers, but before that I have a question, and it is, do you think that Judge Travers is a thief and a villain, or do you think that he's not that, but he's still a pretty mean guy that's dishonest and distrustful? What do you think? If you had been Judd, how would you feel about Marty being there and witnessing everything? And what would you do immediately to stop that? Me, I would be like, hey, have Shiloh. Have Shiloh. That would be what I would do. And also, I'll give you $10. Okay, kid? Like that. But anyway, so do you think that Judge Travers is, do you think that Judge Travers is a really smart guy? He says nibbling on his garden. Not true, right? But do you think that Judge Travers, if a policeman investigated him, do you think that he could suddenly get this nice persona and totally fool the policeman? Or do you think that he's actually going to get caught if a policeman actually tried to drop him? Not drop him, arrest him. What do you think? So do you think that if Marty actually sent for the police, do you think that they would actually believe Marty, or do you think that they would have laughed it off? Well, I know that kids are sometimes misunderstood. They're like, nah, that's not it. You're just pranking us. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't laugh if somebody had called. But anyway, so did you think that Judd was gonna give up Shiloh right then and there, or did you have a feeling that some other things were gonna happen? I actually thought that Judd was gonna be like, fine, I'll give you Shiloh. but he didn't, right? I was pretty surprised about that. And do you think that this deal, all in all, do you think that it is very fair, or do you think it's not fair at all? Now, so another thing I wanted to talk about was, do you think, do you think that this work is going to be easy or not? Just, from, Judd, do you think that's going to be easy? No, right? What do you think that one of the work is going to be? I just thought about wood piles, and I don't know what, but I just thought about wood piles in the vegetable garden. That was the first thing that came in mind. But after that, like, feeding the dogs, that would be really torturous, But luckily, Judd isn't that mean, even though he's pretty mean. A lot mean, at least not that. Okay, but anyway, Shiloh is Marty's, right? And do you think that your parents would approve of you working for Judd Travers or not? And, Shiloh, and I have a question, and it is, do you think that you would work this hard for a pet? Not a pet, but a companion, a best friend? Or do you think that after a little, you'll be like, I give up, I'm not gonna do this, it's too hard. What do you think? But anyway, so I think that I wouldn't give up. I would try to, I would do it until I got my dog, because my dog is my friend, right? So Marty began, so before that, do you think that Judd will somehow say, no, I didn't sign it, and you can't prove it, well, he can't prove it, but really, do you think that something's gonna turn up, like Judd's gonna somehow trick Marty or get Marty to, or lure Marty, do you think that something's gonna happen that shouldn't happen and Judd's gonna set it up or not? Uh-oh, right? So, chapter 15, right? And so, if Marty had actually said the truth to his parents, do you think that is, do you think that he should have said the truth, or do you think that would be disobeying the orders? What do you think? So, I have a question, and the question is, do you think that Shiloh, he didn't know anything, right? But do you think that Shiloh, he was so happy, right? And Shiloh's just a great dog. And do you think that Shiloh from now on is gonna have a better life when he was with Judd, right? And on a scale to 1 to 10, not a scale, I guess, but what are a few reasons why maybe Shiloh's life will be better? Well, that's easy. Number 1, he's a better friend. Number 2, he doesn't have to be around other mean dogs. Number 3, he gets a bed and home. Number 4, he gets a family. Number 5, he gets love. Number 6, he has freedom. And on, right? And and number 7, he doesn't get kicked, and millions more. Okay. You know what Judd, the tasks that Judd has Marty doing, right? Do you think that if you had been Marty, you could have done all those tasks, or would you give up? And also, do you think that the work is too hard or not? Anyway, so do you think that dogs also have personalities and they're all different? Or do you think that dogs don't have personalities and they're all the same? What do you think? Well, every dog would be nicer if everybody treated him kindly, but all of the personalities, they're different, right? And so, anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about was, do you think that, Judd begins to laugh. He says that, about the piece of paper, there was no witness, so maybe it won't work, right? And did you think that Judd was good, that all this work actually was for nothing? And if you had been Marty, what would you have done? Would you have been what? Then I'm not gonna do this work? Or would you be okay, and keep on working? And I have a question. Marty keeps on working. Why do you think that he keeps on working when Judd just says that he can't? Why do you think so? And would you do the same? I would do the same, because I was there's some hope, you know? Maybe Judd will change his mind. And the thing is, you know, even after it's 5 o'clock, Marty keeps on working a little, right? And soon enough, you know, Judd even leaves out some water, right? What do you think is changing between them? Like, yeah, what do you think is changing? And do you think, that Judd and Marty, even if they're not friends, I don't think that they're ever gonna be friends, but do you think that, compared to before, do you think that they're at least in better terms, or do you think they're still enemies? What do you think? But anyway, so Marty gets a dog, right? And Judd even gives Marty a collar. Were you surprised, or were you like, I knew that Judd would do that? And when Marty got the dog, right? It was just amazing, right? And we leave off on that happy note. Shiloh, an amazing book, and we have finished, right? And so, yeah, it's just an amazing book. I hope that you enjoyed. And so I have a question, and it is, if you had been Marty and you got Shiloh, how would you feel? Would you feel a little happier, or would you have a party right then and there? And like, yeah, and you can use, maybe you could fill in the blank. I'm pretty sure that you could. Okay, the blank is here. Try to fill it in. If you guess this, simile or simile or use words to describe how you feel, or use words to express how you feel, and simile. If you did either of those, or what you said was generally that, you are absolutely correct. And so, I don't know why. Today's a simile day for me. Okay, similes. So I'm gonna do a simile. Okay, I felt as if I had gotten a golden chicken. Okay, a chicken that laid golden eggs, and also, from its mouth, whatever kind of chocolate I wanted would come out. Yum. But anyway, so we have finished for today, okay? And I hope that you really enjoyed this amazing book. I loved it, and you can sort of see from my enthusiasm here. So I have a question. How did you like it? And maybe you could use a few words to describe the book. A simile to describe the book. Or just be like, this book was amazing. I'm just gonna do a few words to describe the book. 1, amazing. 2, heart-filling. I'm not very sure that's a word, but you know, okay. Another one would be emotional, wholehearted. And I can think of a few more, but I just wanted to go on to a few other questions, and you should know them by now, okay? And they are, what's your favorite part in the chapters that we just reviewed? 11 to 15, and then in the whole book, because we just finished the whole book, right? So what's your favorite part in the whole book? Well, I can't choose, but I guess that is when, you know, Marty got Shiloh. Yeah, I like that one. Okay, so now, so if you have multiple, like, you know, then you could do multiple, or if you can't choose, just do all. Now for the favorite character, what's your favorite character? And your least favorite character? If you can't choose, like, you have 2 favorite characters or something, perfectly fine. My favorite character is Marty and Shiloh. My least favorite character, you can guess. If you guess Judd, you're correct. I mean, like, Judd has become better, but still, he's not the best dude in my opinion. But yes, he has gotten better. Now, so we have really covered a lot. So so now let's go to the predictions. One question is, do you think that Marty and Judd, do you think that they're gonna become friends? And Shiloh and Marty, do you think that they're gonna have any other adventures? And like, what kinds of adventures do you think they could have? And like, and another one is, about Shiloh, and it is how long do you think that Shiloh will live? Or, well, that's a little dull question. So, what about for the rest of his life? How happy do you think that Shiloh will be on the scale from 1 to 10? And you can just ask yourself other prediction questions and answer them yourself. Okay? And yeah, you could do that. You could do a lot of things. And one really cool activity that you could do, like, so for people who don't know the book, you can make a miniature version of it. And so like you can draw pictures, and like it's like it has the same chapter format and all that, but the only difference is that you will it will be a little shorter for the people who don't have time to read the whole book but still want to listen and sort of, know the story. Okay? But anyway, so I hope that you had an amazing time with me. Yeah, I had an amazing time with you. Hope that you had an amazing time with me. And just have a great rest of your day or night, because I always want to be fair tonight. And people who are in night, they're like, oh man, the day's ending. I'm like, oh, I just don't want this to. Why do they have to always say have a great rest of your day? And so yeah, night 2. Keep on reading books, because it's amazing. Check out my YouTube channel for more book clubs, and just read, because yeah, it's amazing. Makes your brain stronger, okay? So hope that you hope that you had a great time with me. Read other books by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. She has made so many books, okay? And now, I guess that it's time to say goodbye. Okay? Bye! Have a great rest of your day or night. Keep reading!